So lesson 2, vowels and consonants. More of them. Let's take a look at these three here. D, T, and A. A. D, T, and A. We'll take a look at the vowel first. A. A. The short form is E. The long form is A. And you don't want to say A. That's diphthongating. You don't want to diphthonate. You want to say A. A. E. A. If you diphthonate it, you sound like A. And that's not what we're doing. We're doing a pure vowel here. E. A. And there's some duration difference in that second, in the long form. And we'll talk about duration, lax, and tense in other videos. But for now, just remember E. A. E. A. And we'll take a quick look at those two consonants now. D and D. 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 Now you want to take a look at my video on plosive aspiration to make sure you're not saying D. Now let's take a look at the vowel again. Esse. Esse. This is a good example in the verb to be. The infinitive esse. It is esse. It's not esse. It's not esse. It is esse. And you want to make sure you're pronouncing those two consonants. Esse. So now let's take a look at the pronoun here. First person singular. The ablative and the accusative pronounced me. Me. So here's a fun consonant to talk about. English people will see this letter and say R. But when you say that, R, to name this letter, you're not actually making a vowel plus a consonant. If you say R, R, then you are actually making a vowel plus a consonant. But when you just say R, you're just adding what's called coloring to the vowel. R is actually a vowel plus a consonant. English used to be different, but today we have these vowels being colored instead of actually having them followed by a consonant. Now when you say road, you are actually putting, that is actually a consonant in the beginning of road. But we're not talking about English, we're talking about Latin. I don't want to get too into English right now. But when you say R, you're making what's called a tap, or it's also called a flap after the vowel. Now you do also have a trill, which is something that you will see when you do the infinitive of the verb. That's a cognate to the English verb bear. The verb is frere, frere, frere. That actually has trill in there. When you say amare, 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 then you are actually having a tap. Now taps, and in fact even more gravely, trills, are not easy for everybody to make. And if you need to have some help, you can look on YouTube and other lessons. Various people on YouTube can help you. One good thing to practice with, though, is this sentence, or this not sentence, but this piece right here. Ratum librorum. So now we're going to look at this. S. Never Z, always S. It is never voiced. Remember, voicing is when you use your vocal cords. So it's never going to be Z. It's always going to be S. S. Never Z. So, to talk about this, let's take a look at a particular noun, a third declension noun that you should be familiar with. It is spelt as if it were pronounced herbs, but it's actually herbs. 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 It is an unvoiced bilabial. And there's a fun phonetic term for you. My plosiveness video will discuss unvoiced, unaspirated bilabials. What we call a P is an unvoiced, plosively aspirated bilabial. You definitely want to check out that video. But anyways, this is pronounced erps, erps. The Romans, to make sure they didn't have any voiced syllables, s is a sibilant, they would unvoice that consonant before, so it'd be erps, erps. Now, it is not yerps. You want to make sure you don't sneak in that y sound. Long story short, English sneaks in a y sound into, well, into a lot of things that come from Latin. Particularly, I'm not going to get into it, but never sneak in that y sound. It is yerps, not yerps. We're going to talk about the oo semivowel. Not quite yet, but we're going to get into it at some point. Our next video will get into diphthongs.